is completed. Warning, issues have been detected that need your immediate attention. Click on Clean Now to fix these issues.
Excuse me, that cleanup pro needs your attention.
Well, hey. The gang seems to be here. I did it on beat because that's what I do. I'm not just a king of guru, but I'm a DJ. Call me DJ Khaled. I want to welcome you to the best dinar show in the world. I believe, that's my opinion, filled with more facts, more information, more stuff that'll actually help you through your journey than through any guru site around. We are here to help you. We are here to educate you. We are here to bring you the news. And with the news, I bring you an introduction in case you don't know who we are. Ladies first.
I am April Beebe.
And I am Mr. Brando. And welcome to the status of the Iraqi Dinar IQD. Now, tonight we're going to have a different show. The last couple nights I've had Pempe on here. Pempe is an analyst and he has helped me break down two white papers, one being the Memorandum of Understanding and two being the SBA of 2019. So when people come to you and say, these are why things aren't happening or they don't understand why it's happening, referencing them back to those two last shows, you don't have to explain it. Let them explain to you why the SBA or the Memorandum of Understanding doesn't work, okay? Tell them, say, look, you want to understand how this works? There's a benchmark, there's a time frame, we have it. Go look at those things. We don't have to explain ourselves. They have to explain themselves to us if they don't do what's right, okay? So, with that, there's a lot of news out there, but I don't think all of it's super pertinent, so I'm going to go through it rather quickly. And then we're going to get to Jan, our economist. I'm going to call her at 7:30. She's going to go over wealth, the Iraqi economy. She's going to go over wealth management. She's also a crypto person. She has her own coin. She's also heavily invested in a sustainable habitat in the Caribbean, something else that she feels very passionate about. But her main passion is educating people on how to make money and how to ascertain wealth and how to retain that wealth. So with that, we're going to welcome Jan later on. I'll call her. You guys can start getting your questions ready. Don't ask them now. I'll tell you when to start asking them so that we make sure that we get the opportunity to ask her those questions, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a question about wealth or trust or, you know what I mean, stocks, bonds, you don't understand how something works, Jan's the person to explain to you, right?
Yep.
That gives Babe and them a chance to help monetize or moderate, and you can moderate, and you can ask your questions to finance, right? Okay. So sources said on Monday that Halabusi was traveling to Washington. So right now, Halabusi, the Speaker of the House, is in Washington. He is there to talk about some very economic and security issues between the two countries. We know he's here. We don't know what they're discussing. We're all hoping that he's discussing an economic reform and how to make it happen. Now, a lot of you haven't seen it yet because I didn't post the thumbnail. The thumbnail, the tonight's show's name is Solder's Back. Solder's been away for 3 months, and Solder's back, and all of a sudden things start heating up. So politically, not economically, but politically, you're starting to see more files of corruption starting to open, and then to execute them, not just open them, but execute them. And that's all part of your SBA and all part of your Memorandum of Understanding. And so I hope you guys feel extremely enthused about this. Now, there's a couple articles that had the whole world or the whole dinarian world on its ear, and one of them was received on Monday. The Secretary General of the World Trade or the World Customs Organization was in Iraq, and he received a special mission aimed at developing joint cooperation between the organization and the Iraqi government in the field of customs, work protection, cultural heritage, in the first visit of its kind. So the World Customs Organization, again, you got to square away the taxes and you got to square away the tariffs. That's part of that agreement that they would have those things done. That's why this guy's in here, Mr. Kunio Makora. So he's there to help them get things rocking and rolling. Iran says that it's in a position if they have to return people back to that stage, they would. Now, I think this was a very, very crucial thing. I think the HCL law, as we know it, Iraq is something of a country that's trying to figure out a way to pay the people, but without robbing its reserves. So a bunch of these ministers got together and they said, hey, we could pay the whole Iraqi citizens if we just took 10%. I'll tell you about the fund in a second. Put it into a fund. We're going to call it the Citizens Fund. And we'll pay the citizens from that fund 10% of the total oil revenue above a profit. So if they don't make a profit, they don't get anything. Meaning that if oil drops so low that the country suffers, then they're not going to be able to pay the people. But it does enable the people to get the oil revenues, which again is one of the benchmarks of the SBA. So if this was to pass right now, you could say they could fulfill the HCL, okay? Article 140 wouldn't be done, but they can fulfill the HCL, which it has to do everything with Article 30, which nobody talked about, which was that every Iraqi has the availability and the at least the opportunity to have a wealthy life with, not worrying about housing, not worried about an income, blah, 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 blah. But that Article 30 right there would be satisfied by the HCL. So remember, you have these articles of the Constitutions, and you also have demands of the SBA. All of these things are in sync.
Is your mic okay? Did you see a solid light? I'm sorry.
It's solid light, yeah.
Yeah, because somebody said you were cutting out, so I was just asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, the mic's solid, so
Okay.
I have it at a normal volume. It's a little lower. Ask him, is my 1 2 1 2 testing? Am I at a normal volume for you guys? I'm trying not. I don't have it up too high.
That was the only person. Only one person said
Okay.
So.
Okay. Parliament ends reading report discussions of the draft law. We talked about that. The correspondent said Parliament extended the report and discusses the draft amendment to the first law of the Fund to Recovery. We know that's important, and that's dated back from 2012. Parliament voted on the wording of the resolution on the restoration of their contracts and retired the police and army. Remember, they can't be in the rears no more than, I believe, 90 days as being satisfactory within that, within their SBA agreement. So they need to settle those rears of the army, and they also need to serve the rears of the retirees. So that's a good note that they're getting that done. Now, I got kind of mad at this. Me and Mr. Fraser got kind of schnickety about this. Next Tuesday, they're calling this a holiday on the martyr on Iman Kadim Az. Now, we are canceled the official working day on Tuesday, the 2nd of April, on the occasion of martyrdom of Iman Kadim. Peace be upon him. So peace be upon him, but they're not going to work next Tuesday. And again, I tell you guys these things not because I want you to be up in arms about them, but I want you to understand that on Tuesday, if there's no news, you understand that it's not an official work day for them, okay? So I'm just trying to educate you on the day-to-day life of an Iraqi. The central bank law, judgments of the persons who... Okay, now this is like one of the major bombs I want to drop to you guys today. So the judgments of the persons who coined or prescribed to prepare counterfeit money meant a fine of 50 million dinars and imprisonment. Article 50 says, it stipulates, no one saw the Article 50, but it stipulates that any person or persons who hire or initiate the preparation of false money for committing a felony is punishable, okay? Now, I'm going to ask you guys this. Anybody that tells you that the Iraqi dinar will not hold some type of nominal value, you just need to tell them, then why the heck would you have an Article 50? Why the heck the other day when they caught those ISIS members coining coins, minting coins? Think about this. Why would you mint coins that A, aren't in circulation, okay, and B, hold no value? Why? Those are the bad guys. Why would they do that? Because lower denominations are coming. We know that. That makes it fact. We also know that you are minting for a bad currency because that bad currency will have a value. Understand, you don't counterfeit something because it's worthless. Okay? Why would you go through all the trouble? You could just go out and go to the auction, pull up a fake company, buy the currency yourself, and distribute yourself. It'd be easier. They're minting that currency because it holds a nominal value. Okay? So stop with the what if, what if, what if. Now, on the other side of that coin, a person of a little bit of, thought process will say, Brandon or Mr. Brando, Ms. B, but if they're going to start counterfeiting the currency, what about a lot? The reason why you know there's no lot because they met the agreement or they met all the stipulations of the MOU and the SBA. So there's no lot. We're watching currency, but they're instrumenting laws that are stopping them from the ability to counterfeit money and coins immediately. Why? Because that's coming down the pipe. I think I know this month's darn near over, but in April, you're going to see lower denominations. That's my own personal opinion, but I'm going to go on fact right there and say that. I believe you're going to see it. Now, Article 52, if you get caught promoting counterfeit money, that person initially knowing cheating the promotion of counterfeit money or willingness to promote counterfeit money or to use it as original money, export, send, or accept counterfeit money outside Iraq, the perpetrator shall be punishable and be liable to a fine exceeding 100 million dinar or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 10 years or both. So a question to you, if you do one thing, you're going to go to jail for 10 years or more. If you do another thing, you're 10 years or more. Why would you do that for a worthless currency? Why? Who would care? I mean, you would think, well, okay, we'll just lop it and start over. Because they know it holds an intrinsic value to it. That's why they're doing it. There's no other reason, okay? So don't let these people make you SNIOP. SNIOP makes you susceptible to negative influence of others. Because it says it right here. This is in their laws, okay? I'm not making that up. That's not me looking into a crystal ball and saying, well, possibly if this happens, and if this scenario and this scenario happens, that is law. That is gospel, okay? If you get caught producing counterfeit money, you go to jail for a long time, and you pay a big fine of $50,000 plus dinars. And if you get caught promoting it, selling it, caught with it, whatever, automatically more 100 million dinars, and you're going to jail for at least 10 years. Now, I'll tell you this, in the United States, the laws are much more lenient for, right? So why it's with a thriving economy, you get caught with a little bit of fraud money, you don't go to jail for 10 years. You might go to jail for a year, maybe 2. And you might pay a little bit of a fine, but not 100 million dinars, even 1190. That's got to be over $100,000, right? But over there, you're going to pay a stiff fine and be in prison for at least 10 years of your life. Now, you could say, well, Islamic laws are stiffer and stuff like that, but why would you have this super stiff law for a currency that's basically worthless? Okay? Think about that. Okay. Another thing I told you guys to watch out for was the United States issuing that law from the DOJ stating that when the ISIS gangs, they are done, they're witnessing crimes of different gangs there. Now, they're doing such things as counterfeiting of the currency. Now, in the definition of the crime, a judge of the Theft Missoula Court and Inquiry says the correct naming is counterfeiting currency. Now, not forgery, the latter being targeted at editors, while counterfeiting is for currencies. Do you see how one thing ties to the other? Why would they start wrapping on or start stating these laws, putting these laws into effect, and the very next article, and I don't choose these like that, but the very next article tells you that these are not forgeries. These are counterfeiters, and it exists in the past. It has increased after the occupation of Missoula by ISIS gangs. So how the heck did ISIS know way back when the last administration was in? That's another good question for you. How the heck would they know that there would be coins? How? They retired them all because they knew that there's an intrinsic value in a coin that they recently discovered, because that just recently became a thing of, journalistic value, which was on the thing which we reported on. Not that they didn't know it. They have spies and they have leaks and they pay people to find out information. But you got to understand, why are they doing it now? Right now. of any other time that anybody's else been in this dinar community, have you ever noticed a time where they talk more about forgery, more about counterfeiting, more about jail imprisonment, about the Iraqi dinar? And then people dogged me out, and I told them, hey, watch out for fraud currency. Watch out for fraud currency. Watch out for fraud currency. Oh, you don't need that, Mr. Brando. But obviously, the central bank, the government of Iraq, and everybody else is telling you, watch out for fraud currency because it's been minted. We know ISIS stole all these plates. I showed you pictures of it. But I don't know nothing. Don't believe me. You're right. Mr. Brando's a dumbass. Sorry, I'm dumb. I told you all this because I knew it was going to become a factor later on. Okay? Whenever you have an opportunity to mint large sums of money, there's always an opportunity for one bad apple or two bad apples to steal. Okay? And that's why I told you not to say that the certificate of authenticity is like your holy grail, but it would have been at least a nice safeguard for you to have some understanding as to why your currency is minted and it's good. Okay? That's why I don't buy stuff off eBay. Article 281 of the Penal Code deals with the crime, but the Central Bank Act regulates that crime. So it is basically a federal crime in Iraq to be involved in fraudulent monies. Okay? And it goes into a tier. Now, recently, a lot of people were trying to post this piece of currency out there that they thought was a dinar, but it was a piece of Bulgarian currency that Iraq is now going to take, which is a 100-pound coin. Do you want that coin to see it for yourself? I can send it to you.
Okay.
This coin, and everybody was like, oh, this is a lower denomination. This is a lower denomination. It is not a lower denomination. However, it is a lower note that the Iraqi banks will take, and it's from Bulgaria. It's $100 note. Now, you're going to say, well, Brando, who cares about that $100 note? Nobody cares about that. Well, yeah, they kind of do, because that $100 note gives to life that the Iraqi bank will take it, that now that they have the ability to make change at $100, if you think about it, if they take that note. So I'm not saying they're launching the lower denominations. I'm just saying that that note's out there, and that Bulgaria, it's a Bulgarian note. It is not a note from Iraq. A lot of people are trying to pass it off as being an Iraqi note. It is not. Ooh, I thought I had it.
You know, I saw something in the conversation one time, but it looked like a bit like a note for another country. It didn't look like.
Yeah, it looks like it's Russian, right?
Mm-hmm,
That's that note right there. This is it right here. That note.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the note. So I don't know how to blow that up at all or give it to you, but that is a Bulgarian note. That note is accepted at the Iraqi banks. It's considered legal tender. But
so that's accepted at the Iraqi bank?
Yeah, they're accepting that note. I have the article here.
And that's Bulgarian?
It's Bulgarian. And you say, well, why would Bulgaria want to put a note in the Iraqi banking system?
Right.
Show of hands. Remember what I told you guys was an ultra important thing about the investment was the Silk Road Initiative? Bulgaria is on the map for the Silk Road Initiative. Again, all of this is tying together. The Silk Road, Bulgaria accepting an Iraqi bank, a lower denomination, okay? It's all tied together. So you know that Iraq is going to be tied into that Silk Road Initiative. One belt, one road, okay? I'm going to be able to take about 10 minutes worth of questions before we call Jan on the phone, I think. I told you about that. Yep, see, Bulgaria can open the new Silk Road. Should I give this to you right here? To the Central Western Europe. Bulgaria is on, I'm going to send it to you, okay? Bulgaria is on that Silk Road, so you wonder what the correlation between the two of it is. Miss Beebe's going to have the article. That note in Bulgaria is our Silk Road Initiative. That's where the two tie together. Remember, if you find one piece of information with Iraq, like Pempe taught us the last couple of days, you got to tie them both together, right? You got to look for other things outside the box. So I went and looked out Bulgaria and said, what the heck is Bulgaria doing? Bulgaria can open the new Silk Road to the Central and Western Europe. That's why it's there. And if you look at the little picture right here, right, it runs right through Iraq. See? Little red lines? Right through Iraq. Then it comes back to the maritime.
I'm going to post what he's looking at.
Okay, so you guys can all see it and understand what I'm seeing. 2 threats are opened when they do this deal about the 10% on the oil. Okay, they're saying there's 2 threats, 2 minimal threats. The Citizens Fund, that's what fund that we're looking for to fund the citizens. That bill will allocate 10% of the oil revenues to all Iraqis in its present text, meaning that that's why the Article 140, which says that if you're a disputed person, not in the past text, current text, so those people that are living there or having the availability, that's why you're seeing a lot of these free visas for people to come back home. Remember, it all ties together. So when I tell you about visas and stuff like that, they want those people to come back home. That's it right there. Yeah, that's
the link you just sent me.
Yeah.
So if you guys go out there to the community tab, I've posted the note and the link with the map.
Exactly. So now you understand where I'm getting the correlation between the Bulgarian note and its initiative, what its purpose is, okay? So it suggests the fund to finance the small and medium-sized businesses. So basically what they're saying is once they get things done, there'll be a couple 2-headed dragons on there that will help the Iraqis. One of them will be to finance small and medium businesses. 2 of them will help pay Iraqis. And another one was to help with some water and stuff like that. But we already talked about that. The dams were full. They were hopefully not going to have those things. But again, if they don't deal with electricity, having water is good and having payments good. But they got to have basic services so the people remain happy. Okay. Now they're nominating a national military figure to the post of defense. That's important. I believe in having a strong defense. Not just for Iraq, but for America. I believe what they're doing is smart right there. The most important files to be discussed, that's going on right now. Mr. Fraser sent me an article via WhatsApp. Yeah, I'm on WhatsApp. If you guys aren't on WhatsApp and you want my WhatsApp, you can have it. They're attending a meeting right now, and they're talking about construction. They're talking about reform. They're talking about policy, and they're talking about the placement of the last few people. Okay? So I got about 8-9 minutes before I got to call Jan. Is there anybody out there with any questions? We're going to keep the live chat going. I'm not going to cut it off, but I just want to make sure you guys, if you had any questions, if Miss BB could start if you guys could start organizing that a little bit, when I call Jan, you'll be able to ask those questions to her. And shout out to everybody who's given those thumbs ups. Thank you. I'm going to automatically get about 10 or 12 thumbs down. Same haters out there, the same haters that stay watching us. I love it. Tell them haters to keep watching their favorite show because they're getting more education here than anywhere. So if you got questions about wealth, how all that works, understand they're in that meeting right now about having everything fulfilled for the government. I believe that's going to come out probably, if I had it my druthers, late tonight, maybe tomorrow. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So be looking for that. Okay. Any questions you see out there?
Let's see. Is it true that they have started arresting the corrupt ministers over there in Iraq? I think monsters are. I'm not sure if he meant.
I know he meant ministers. Yeah, they are. They're going to open up another 1,000 files. And see, this is what people don't understand. They're like, the list of corruption's all gone. You're not going to see an RI or RV. They say shows you first. They don't talk about when they say RV, but number 2 it says when they see corruption gone. You never see corruption fully gone from Iraq, like you'll never see corruption fully gone from America. I'll give you an example. Look at Jesse Smoltz. If that's not corruption at its finest,
who?
Jesse Smoltz.
Smollett,
whatever his name is, the actor, okay. Right? Mm-hmm. Police put out a bad thing about him, about that check. They don't do their homework. He goes free. Now, he isn't exonerated, but he goes free. That's corruption. Okay? Mm-hmm. Understand that. That's a corrupt police system. Mm-hmm. So you can say here, well, the dollar shouldn't be worth $1 because we have corruption here in America. It's not true. You're never going to get rid of absolute corruption, okay? We can limit it. We can arrest the bad guys to send a message. And just like this, y'all, and I'll tell you this right now, don't be surprised if you see Maliki get a vice presidency, okay? One of the 3 vice presidents. The reason why I say that is me and Ms. Fraser talk about this all the time. Sometimes you got to dance with the devil to get what you want. But understand that if you see Maliki get the vice presidency, this is my opinion only, but he gave up every single underling he has, okay? So he's giving them all up. They're all going to go away, and our blessing's going to come right through. So either you're going to see a Maliki, and I think right after that, you're going to see Maliki arrested by the international court because then they'll be under international laws. He'll be arrested, and that will be a great thing for everybody.
Kenneth Sale says the people in the front of the banks don't have a clue about exchanging during the RV. They're sheep just working a job.
Well, you gotta understand, I talked to this girl from Nanani from Iraq for 2 hours the other day. I was like, Nanani, don't you understand that you're supposed to get money? We are. I said, didn't the the finance minister come on Iraqi news? Well, yeah, but he said that in 2014, Mr. Brando. I said, you guys are some of the richest people in the world. I said, you should be saving your dinar. She said, well, we save a USD here. I said, well, what do you do with your dinar? She said, well, we turn it into the bank. She said, we turn it into the bank or we keep it at home. I said, you don't use it? She says, no, we try to keep all the USD we can. I said, don't you know? And I showed her the SBA. Now, she's a high school teacher. She read it. You know what she told me? I had no idea. I said, you should tell every Iraqi person this. You are the richest people in the world. But until you stand up for yourselves, no one will ever know.
They don't.
She said, Mr. Brando, I didn't know. So what do you think a bank teller in Houston, Texas is going to know about their Iraqi dinar if the all Iraqi people don't know?
Right.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to 443 people that took their time. Yeah, corruption is everywhere. All right, y'all. I know Pempe didn't have much for today. I'm thinking I should probably call Jan here in just a second. Would you guys start yeah, and way more prominent. Would you guys start asking your questions? I'm gonna get Jan on the phone. I'm gonna start interviewing her. Yeah, hey Mike, I just reported that they're talking about paying the citizens 10% out of the citizens fund. It hasn't happened yet. They're trying to get that going. Now, one person said 100 dinars on the website. John, yeah, I know 100 dinar websites on. It's the Bulgarian dinar, the Bulgarian money that we're talking about. The $100 dinar is on the website. It's going to be there also.
Real quick, Sean, is your question for Jan when she hops on the line?
I think before July, if I understood that correctly. I'm really, next month to me is a major, major thing. Yeah, all Intel people listen to each other. That's why y'all don't send me anything about Intel unless it's from a news source. I don't want to cloud my judgment with other reports from people that don't base it in fact. That's why I tell you thank you, but I never listen to it. Because I have to form my own ideas, bounce it off my own people, understand what we're thinking is what we're thinking. Does that make sense?
Somebody asked what happened to Vic and his family.
Disappeared. I don't know. He got drugged in the chat the first couple times. People called him a liar. People called him this. It's hard to keep these people forthright when they feel like they're being drugged. You know what I'm saying? So people called him full of shit, that he was a liar, that he was a thief, that he was Delta. He disappeared from the map. Kurt, that's a very interesting question. The only thing that I can tell you that the coins that they were minting were fake gold coins. Not silver, they were gold. They didn't tell you a value. Yeah, you guys, we are really good. We're in a great place. Yeah, that you would think the Iraqi citizens would know first. They don't. They're in the dark about a lot of things. You know what I mean? Because they've been lied to so much. They're kind of like us, right? They're kind of like Dinarians. They've been lied to so much by gurus. They're politicians. You get what I'm saying? They lie to them so much, give them false hope. Oh, we're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. And they never do it. So pretty soon the Iraqi citizens say, well, they're not going to do anything for us.
Were you answering Kurt's question about
Yeah.
that coin? Okay.
I did.
Just checking.
Shout out to Daza. Shout out to Babe. Shout out to all my mods out there. Shout out to all my King of Guru crew that's here every day with us. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to all the new ones and the old ones. Shout out. Salute and respect. Jason, I really do. I really do see it coming down the pipeline in April. We're going to know something major in April, good or bad. Maliki will give up Iranian intel or else. You're right about that, John. The DOJ is either going to arrest all the Iranian militias, which will retard his power, or they will arrest Maliki, which will retard Maliki completely. Yeah, I'll ask Jan about a segregated trust. Would you write that down? Segregated trust. Babe says you didn't answer Babe's question. Not surprised about Vic. Smelled the BS. Hold on, Will. Or couldn't give a straight answer. Well, maybe so. Maybe he couldn't. That was his truth. He lived it. You guys got on his ass, and that's that. All I can do is interview him, ask him the questions, and go from there. I feel April's going to be a major month for us in this investment. Yes.
Were you answering Al Warbuck's question? His question was when do you think it's going to happen?
I mean, 2019 for sure. I think 2019 is your year. You can't go into 2020 with this not having some type of reinstatement because you have the Paris Agreement. All bells are called, all debts are called in 2020, January 1. So they got to pay everybody back. They don't have enough physical currency to pay back the loans they have if it doesn't revalue. So it has to go 2019. You can't open up the book, these contractors and all these companies from abroad to open up to do work in there if you don't have currency that they can have free capital flow with. 2019 is your year, no matter what. It has to be, or you can shelve it for me.
Babe, can you answer Reese Spears' question? His question is, what did I miss on the conference call last night about the ISX investment?
I'm calling Jan right now.
How many benchmark spots have Iraq hit?
To
become Article 8.
Hey Jan, hey Jan, let me answer this question real quick. I'm gonna give you a proper introduction, Jan, okay? Can everybody hear Jan? I hope so. Okay, good. That's we had 5 out of the 6 benchmarks. Basically, all they had to do is accept Article 8 as far as we knew. But if you could see, ask Mr. Frazier that or ask Seamus that, he could better answer it for me right now.
Oh.
You guys, I want to introduce Jan. She's she has been involved in Silicon Valley. She has been involved in cryptocurrencies. Jan is what you would call a world-renowned economist. She knows macroeconomics. She knows microeconomics. She knows about wealth management. She's managed some of the most prominent people in the world's wealth funds for several years. She doesn't do that any longer, but she's willing to answer a few generic questions about wealth. What we've talked about is possibly if when all this comes to fruition, that she may be able to help some people out there. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. She's not in that capacity right now, but Jan is a super smart, I would say probably constituent that we've just recently met because of Al. Thank you to Al and thank you to Jan. Jan, I don't want to give them too much, but would you please tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, you did such a good job, Mr. Brando. I don't really think I can top that.
Well, I mean, I just want to say thank you for, I mean, this lady, you talk about busy. This lady is super busy. I mean, she's a monster of the Midway. She's probably one of the most influential people I've met as of late. Could you tell us a little bit about your background, Jan?
Sure. Well, I mean, I spent about 20 years in different businesses, a lot of multinational work, and also did my master's. Mm-hmm. So I do have some education in finance and economics. Mm-hmm. And but it's more important than that. I think the real learning actually was outside of school. Mm-hmm. Building real businesses, seeing how big businesses operate around the world, and how governments operate around the world. So it's actually been quite a journey. And during that time, I've also dabbled a bit in crypto, and to the point where, because I actually like to create businesses, I created a venture, which is not, we didn't ICO, but we are still alive, even through the crypto winter. And but it's really about self-empowerment. That's what I'm really passionate about. I've been an educator, spoken on stage, did lots of workshops and seminars, worked with individuals, and not just high net worth individuals, but also the regular people who got decimated in 2008 in the credit crisis. How do we build ourselves back up? So certainly from a different perspective on what is going on with the IQD, but in the larger scheme of things of what's really going on and how is the world changing and what do we need to kind of prepare ourselves for. All of that stuff is what keeps me up at night, but in a good way, because I love learning.
So Jen, you're not directly involved in the IQD as of yet, right?
No, I'm not, but I am learning lots.
Do you
it's
believe
something that I'm aware of, but again, it's I look at things more from a macroeconomic standpoint, what's really going on politically, but also geopolitically, and then make decisions based on that.
So based upon what you know right now, geopolitically speaking about Iraq, as a person, would you invest in Iraq, maybe buy their currency or get involved in ISX or something like that?
I would dabble in it. My perspective on it, one of caution. I think there's lots of things that are going on, which again, you speak about, Mr. Brando, and I'm still learning. So I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but what I can say is that things are going to happen, and they're going to happen fast when they do. But it's only going to happen when everybody who's an insider, who kind of operates and knows what's going on, and I wouldn't say pulling the strings, but certainly has insider knowledge about these things, geopolitically and economically. And when they're all seated at the table, they've kind of found their spot. That's really when things are going to move. So a minute before that.
So you could call that basically the delays that everybody witnesses, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, it's delayed. Right. Well, it's delayed because this isn't satisfied or that isn't satisfied. This person isn't paid enough or this person doesn't get paid. Those things have to become fruition before you'll actually see an event like this happen.
That's right.
Okay. Have you ever seen an event like this before?
That's what I'm learning and realizing about this situation is that there have been false starts. I mean, again, when we talk about corruption, you know, it's a slippery slope because I don't think there's anything special or extreme about Iraq that doesn't exist elsewhere.
But you believe there were false starts too, right?
Sure.
Okay. Wow. So that gives you another insight. Okay. Now, I don't want to bombard you too much with Iraq, but I want to ask you a couple questions about what you think geopolitically, what would help Iraq further along their cause? Like, could they seat their a seated government?
Yeah, I think you know, you watch what's happening in Turkey, watch what's going on with Saudi Arabia and Aramco, and what just announced they're not doing their IPO, which had been in the works forever, and that was valued at $2 trillion. But the valuation was so high that when the Saudi government wanted to invite investors, foreign investors, to participate in Aramco, they kind of scoffed at the valuation. So they've taken a different tack. They're raising like $70 billion a different way, leaving Aramco completely state-owned. So what's going on with Turkey and the short squeeze and the killing of the shorts on the lira, that's significant, I think, for the region. And then, of course, what's going on with Venezuela also plays into this. So we're still in a kind of, I wouldn't say a land grab, but certainly a resource grab around the world. And so the fact that Iraq has been, the currency has been held down artificially at such a low level for this long, you do have to wonder whose purpose is being served by continuing this.
Well,
and who will stand to gain? Is it just the people and investors in Iraq, or is there a larger play for Iraq as part of OPEC, or maybe, you know, outside of OPEC or beyond OPEC, with the petro yuan in play as well? So,
like, do you think it could have a little bit to do with like the one road, one belt initiative with like China and stuff like that also? Because that's a big enough play that they could.
It's all relevant. Absolutely. I mean, you know, the petro yuan futures market is live today. It's just that most people don't really trust the yuan too much, even though it's part of the SDR
Right.
from the IMF. And so the Chinese to settle for any oil trades through gold. So they have a gold market because people trust gold before they trust the yuan.
Do you trust gold?
Yeah, I do.
So are you a big believer in a gold back, like Basel III type thing?
I wouldn't say I'm an extreme believer. I think everything has a purpose and a time when it is valuable and it serves a function. And so gold will certainly serve to function for forever.
Right.
And I think it will serve a function again in global money, whatever form that might take. Crypto might have a part to play in that too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, you've got to look at what are the real resources in the for all the green, and I'm involved in green technology too. For all of the talk about that, we are still very much an oil-based global economy.
Oil being more valuable than gold in some ways because he or she who controls the energy controls the world, right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
I know Ms. Beebe's written down a couple questions. You want to fire a couple of these off for Jan real quick?
Let's see. Well, one of them, I'm not sure if this is a question for you or her. Will there be taxes for cashing in?
That's a question for Jan. Jan, you've dealt with wealth management. So, like, let's say you've got a rich client from overseas and they exchange a large sum of currency, right? Whether it be Britain or...
currency transactions are taxable events in almost every country that I know of. I don't think it's any country that has a tax regime taxes currency transactions, just like any other commodity.
So prepare for a tax, whatever, a tax payment based upon your exchange or exchanges, correct?
Yeah. That's right.
Perfect.
I mean, if you follow crypto and what's going on with that and privacy coins and that sort of thing, there's been a down. It's going to continue. It was needed to some extent with regulations, but again, it's all an evolving field as far as how far governments will go and what's really at play. So I don't think currency being a fiat-based system is going to escape tax.
Right, and that's what I've kind of been saying, Jan, because with the crypto world, they're taxed short-term or long-term capital gains. So I agree with that. The other question was, how are they supposed to people 10% at a program rate?
They can't.
They can't.
They can't. I mean, Jan, could you kind of support me on this? If you've got basically, I believe it's like so many 77 trillion dinars in circulation. You got basically gold assets equating to about 39 tons. You got, I believe, a couple trillion, let's say, in holdings. You couldn't pay everybody basically off your physical currency. You'd have to revalue it some way. Now, my question to you would be, could they use fractional banking to help extend the value of their currency at all? Or is that just kind of pie in the sky idea?
They will do it if it's, again, serve a purpose. Fractional bank the end of its rope in a lot of ways. Some people will argue there is no end of the road for it.
Right, fiat currency is here to stay. That's my argument. Fiat currency is here to stay, but it will be a better currency, possibly in a cryptocurrency or an asset-backed currency that will surpass it after time. That's my belief.
Well, crypto and asset-backed are two different things.
I know, but I believe there'll be many currency streams.
Real, like oil or gold,
right?
Or I mean, crypto doesn't really have backing. I mean, it's depending on what coin you're talking about, there's some sort of algorithm, and there's stored energy, and the mining of it. But I would say crypto, as we know it, as something that would be a liberty coin of sorts. I don't know if that's really something that will become a substitute for what we have today. I think if crypto does move forward, the form it will take will probably be some sort of government or IMF type controlled digital currency, and then there could be a whole multitude of those things, and who knows who might have access to it. So they might have two separate systems, one for the bankers and one for everybody else.
Wow, Jan, you're blowing
for
my mind.
transactions.
Sorry. Next question. So I don't.
Segregated trust.
Could you go over what a segregated trust means to people real quick?
That's again, that's getting into a little bit more of
Wealth management,
tax planning, and again, depending on the jurisdiction, it's different. So, how the U.S. looks at it, how Canada looks at it, how the UK look at it, they're all kind of different. The whole area of trust also is changing rapidly because there is a global hunt for taxes. So regulations and legislation, depending on whose political purposes it serves, trust could be a great thing, or they could be a time-limited event.
Thanks, Jan. If any of you guys want more questions for Jan, I want to have Jan on here a lot more as things progress in Dinar Land. I hope she feels, Jan, you've got about 500 of your closest friends right now listening to you. And everybody's on their bended knee. I mean, literally bended ear listening to you. One of the largest turnouts we've had live right now with you on here. Is there anything you'd like to tell the people or get them prepared for? Or is there another question you want to ask?
The other one was about Article 8. How?
I'll answer that one.
Okay.
Is there any, I don't want to tie your time up. Is there anything you want to tell anybody or say something about education or wealth management or some hint of some jewel of knowledge I can give these guys?
Yeah, I mean, my main message is, having managed money, having had to plan, for my own future, etc., and looking at what people struggle with and why we believe and we speculate, because really that's all that's left.
Right.
The savers have been decimated, so we have to take risks with our money. That's hard earned. And I just am really cautious about anybody putting all their eggs or their hopes in one basket. And then really believing in that. Gold bugs fall into that. Crypto bugs fall into that. To some extent, I just hope that the IQD believers don't fall into that.
Right.
But it's great to diversify, dabble in all these alternative forms of investment. But I think I would say my realization is that whatever skills we can learn, and the community that we build is at the end of the day more important than any sort of wealth that we might create. That's actually the true wealth, because I do think that when a global reset, or whatever that form it takes happens, and I do believe it'll happen in our lifetime, it's community and the skill, the stuff we have between our ears that's really going to help us survive. Because currency, like what we're talking about here, it can get reset, it can get revalued, it can go, and it's not in one direction, right?
Right.
You can have a revaluation up, but you can also have a devaluation down.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like shifting sands. The whole fiat landscape is shifting sands. And so I would just advise anybody to not get caught on the opposite side of a trade. But it's kind of, nobody really has that crystal ball to never be caught out. So what's your hedge personally? And so for me, my personal hedge is to educate myself and to build skills that actually are going to be valuable to others, and to build community.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
They want to know why will this blow up the economy?
Yeah, how does a revaluation affect the economy, Jan? I don't understand how it does really affect everything.
Well, I mean, think about not knowing what anything costs. Right.
Oh, wow.
So overnight, if the price of bread goes from, a loaf for $2 to $20, and nobody's wages are really going to go up in such a scenario, or if they do, they're not going to keep pace, just like they don't keep pace today with inflation. But if inflation was in your face every day to that extreme level, all trust is gone. And the whole fiat system is built on trust, that the dollar is the dollar is the dollar for everybody.
Right.
And so if that it's a confidence game. So since nothing backs it, it's really just confidence that backs it.
Right.
You trust that you will put in an hour at work and you will get a couple of dollars in return for it. And those dollars you trust are going to buy you that loaf of bread. So if anywhere in that chain that trust breaks down, which is what happens with revaluations, that's really when it's chaos.
Right.
And then you get into barter situations when people start looking at what is valuable, what are their basic needs, and how do they meet them.
Okay.
In the absence of paper notes.
So, Jan, I don't want to give them too much on the first night because your giving is bigger than a lot of things I have, done out here. Why don't we call it a night? I want to have you back in a little, maybe a couple shows or something. I want to talk more about your endeavors and what you're doing. And I want to have you back on if that's okay. I think
sure,
the people
great.
are definitely interested in what you have to say. They're definitely interested. So
yeah, this has been fun.
Is it fun? Okay. I mean,
Thank
awesome.
you for having me on.
Hey, thank you for doing it, Jan. And we're going to talk to you later, okay? And if you've got anything you want to add, you can email to me or text to me. I'll post it. We'll put the stuff out there. Let's keep what you're doing alive and educating the people and giving the people the proper knowledge, okay? And we'll talk next time, okay?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brando.
Thank you, Jan.
Bye for now.
All right, have a great night. Okay, so I've got 8 minutes left for regular calls. If someone wants to call in and just say something, if you call in past, y'all, I gotta tell y'all, because of the way time works, if you call in after the show, I may not answer. And the reason is because I'm dealing with people like Jan, I'm dealing with Al, I'm dealing with Seamus, I'm dealing with Babe, I'm dealing with George. So if you don't call during the hours and I don't get back to you, don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to give you the information as I get it, okay? Yeah, hit the like button. The like button brings good luck. The like button shows the positivity of the atmosphere. Hit the like button. Blow that like button up. I mean, we're out here. We're trying to do everything for you. We don't ask anything of you but your time. Remember, now that Basel III has been set off, I'll go ahead and do the video tomorrow about no gold. So all the no golds are really got a leg up because Basel III got set off until January 2022. But I'll still leave it open to the whole thing. I'll do the rant tomorrow sometime, and we're going to give away the shirt. Once we hit 5,000, I'll ask Jan that next time, who's texting me right now about Belize. Once I hit 5,000 subbies, I will go ahead and give away the 50,000 dinar. So tomorrow will be the official video for the shirt or the hat. We might just do one of each. A shirt and a hat giveaway. Well, based off Miss BB's knowledge. Go figure it out. But thank you guys for tuning in. Is there anything anybody wants to ask me? Wasn't there a question about something about Article 8 or something like that?
Yeah, so they asked two different ways. How many benchmark spots have Iraq hit to become Article 8, I guess, compliant?
Right. I think they almost hit all of them. They just needed to formally accept Article 8, basically.
Okay. Yeah, and then it looks like the same type of question. How much from the list has Iraq hit to become Article 8?
Almost all of them. I'm really expecting them to be done.
Oh, is all the stuff you said today going to delay us further than April 23rd?
No. Everything I tell you guys is right on schedule for what's happening. Do not get discouraged in your investment. Everything we're talking about is right on time for what needs to happen. Okay? We're in a good spot.
Yeah. The other thing, I'll talk to you offline,
Okay.
Babe, check your private messenger on Facebook too.
Babe, check your private messenger. Pimpe, check your private messenger when I get off. If it's something of importance, we'll talk. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Sylvie, IQD chat. Shout out to John's Outhouse. Shout out to my Twitter crew. I'm out there on at Mr. Brando YouTube. You guys should be out there following that. And follow me on Mr. Brando on Instagram for Mr. Brando's Facebook for major updates, because I update on, if I update on one, I update on all three. Okay. If you want to get something to Jan or you want some time, give it to me. I'll give it to her. You guys, we got 5 minutes left. If you guys got a call now. Don't wait. The number is 903-392-9968 or 9968. Call now. I'm not going to answer calls after the show's over.
John Ward said, how much tax? There's a lot of. I'm so glad Jan confirmed what I already have been believing, because the government's going to want their money.
Of course.
So
this time is up with cryptocurrency.
Right. That's like what I was established with cryptocurrency. They established it on the spot. And if you've held your Iraqi dinar greater than 12 months, you're going to be taxed at the short-term capital gains rate. Now you ask, what is that rate? That rate is what your rate of that tax return is. We all have different rates. So for some of us, it might be 10%. For others, it might be 28%. It depends on your bracket. So you have to take that into consideration. You can look at this year's tax return, look at it and see what your tax rate is on that tax return. That's a good gauge. That's a good measure. Now, is that what it's going to be this year? We can't say. So there you have it.
Okay. Last but not least, remember this. As long as I'm finding articles about counterfeiting, understand there's a value to the IQD. There's a reinstatement value to it. It's enough of a value that people are willing to risk life and limb, imprisonment, and huge fines to do it. So when someone tells you that it's not going to revalue, simply refer them to those articles, okay?
Oh, shoot. XRP wanted me to ask her about the e-dinar, which is
I know. I'll ask her next time, okay? I'll try to get her on in a week or two, okay? I'll ask her to analyze the coin and give us her analysis.
I'll try to make a list of questions, and I'll keep this tablet up here. Okay. All right.
Okay, y'all. So basically, that.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
We're back?
Yeah.
Are you guys there? Are you guys there? I swear YouTube hates us, y'all. Oh, there you go. Look, it's a conspiracy theory. YouTube's trying to shut me down. You need to hit 5,000 likes right now so that YouTube can't stop the movement. And subscribe, because YouTube's trying to shut me down.
I think you're gone.
I love you guys. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you guys on Friday. I have more news.
A whole bunch of people that.
They're trying to stop our flow, y'all. Hit the like. Send out that positive love.